one after another. And actually, we were cycling through video of past homes that have gone into the ocean. So the Atlantic wins yet again. And for those keeping score, this is the 12th home in the Outer Banks of North Carolina to collapse into the ocean in the past 5 years. That most recent one happening just a few days ago.
The exposure to the daily high tide, and then you account for storms like the coastal one we had this week. These homes are becoming increasingly vulnerable of collapse. They've already been determined, unlivable or unsafe to at least live in during these times. The home that you see, which finally fell, was built just less than 50 years ago, 1976, so it's not a super old home. Let's bring in Superintendent of Cape Hatteras National Seashore, David Hallac. David, good morning. Thanks for joining us. People have been asking, we hear this, how are we even getting to this point of just watching unoccupied homes collapse into the ocean? I understand it might not be a super easy question, but from your perspective, why have these homes basically become just sitting ducks waiting to be taken out by the water?
Good morning. So these homes are located either right behind or adjacent to Cape Hatteras National Seashore, which is approximately an 80-mile-long National Park Service unit that visitors come to enjoy from all around the world, actually. The reason that houses eventually collapse, like the one that collapsed on Tuesday afternoon, is due to chronic erosion that occurs on most barrier islands on the east coast of the United States. The houses were originally built away from the ocean. Over time, in some areas, like this location in Buxton, we can have more than 10 feet of erosion of the beach annually. So over time, Mother Nature and that Atlantic Ocean just gets closer and closer and closer to the house pilings. Eventually, the sand erodes away from the base of the house pilings. In some cases, that causes the pilings to no longer be firmly embedded in the sand, and they can tip over, or the waves simply hit the pilings. They may be older or weak or rotted, and the house ultimately falls down.
And David, when it comes to this latest house that we saw out of Buxton just a couple of days ago, and it's because of that coastal low that we had, that really aggravated the situation there. But I did notice that while you did and have cleared away some of the debris, there's still that concern for maybe any loose debris that could be spotted along the coast there. I guess much longer do you think that'll be a concern in terms of what you were able to clean up and what might still be lingering?
Yeah, that's correct. So we worked very closely with the owners of the home. They were excellent, worked with us immediately. They had a contractor there the next morning. This particular home collapse was one of the easier collapses to manage. And the reason for that is, as you saw in your video, the home sort of just plopped down in place. And only a small percentage of the home broke up and washed down the beach. We did find debris several miles down the beach, but it was really only the first half mile or so where the debris was heavy. And after that, it's just very loose. You find pieces here and there. We will most likely continue to find those pieces of debris, maybe for another few days, maybe up to a week or two, but it's only going to be a piece here or there. We still do recommend that people use extreme caution in the areas to the south of this home collapse. Sometimes 2x4s, plywood that can have dozens of nails in them are hidden just under the sand, so that if you're walking on the beach in these areas, you could step on a nail, you could step on something hazardous. So the area south of here continues to be closed to entry for about a mile, and we ask that our visitors heed that closure and make sure they stay out. The reason to stay out of the area is so that there are no public safety concerns.
And so to clear up just a little bit of confusion on my part, the homes, they weren't constructed along the national seashore. Is that correct or incorrect? 'Cause they're kind of in this what's called the intertidal zone?
Yeah, so these homes were constructed on private property, and that private property was well west, if you will, of the national seashore beaches and the dune areas that were behind the beaches. And over time, as that beach is eroding every year, on average, let's say 10 feet, where that shoreline is continues to migrate westward, maybe 10, 15 feet one year, then the next year. And before you know it, all of those back dune areas, even the backyards of these homes, which are private properties, are all gone. And now the waves, the ocean is literally at the back porch of these houses, or in some cases underneath them. The seashore lands always include what's called the foreshore, which is between mean low water and mean high water. Those are tidal marks. So in some cases, the Seashore is literally right up to the pilings of these houses.
Certainly some complexities there. We appreciate you you clarifying, and we'll be watching carefully. Appreciate your time. Cape Hatteras National Seashore Superintendent David Hallac, thanks for joining us.